Hi, Ray. Welcome to 3.2. This is going to be talking about domain and range. So we're talking about domain. Domain is your values from left to right. So you're going to scan your pencil left and right and identify all of your possible x values. Range is going to be your vertical values or your up and down values. That's your y values. Now over here I'm going to show you a little trick that I love to show. When you draw a D, the arrow is pointing to the left and right. When you draw yourself an R, the arrow is pointing up and down. So domain, left and right, range, up and down. Just a quick way, if you ever can't remember, draw your D, draw your R, and you should be good to go. Alright, so let's start off with identifying some domain and ranges of these graphs. So one thing you can always do is you can grab a pencil or a highlighter and you can highlight where things start and stop. So for this graph, the horizontal values, so scanning left to right, you see how the arrow has this here. That means it will continue on and on and on in this direction forever and ever. So as it's continuing on and on and on, that's going towards negative infinity. And we're going to positive infinity. We're doing this in interval notation just like we did before, so keep that in mind. Okay, so that's our left to right values. Now let's try our up and down values. Right here is our lowest value, and that value is going to be at -2. So remember, brackets for numbers, and anything that's infinity or an open circle is going to have that parentheses. And once again, the arrow is just going to keep going up and up and up and up, so that's going to go to infinity. Let's look over here at my circle. So my circle going left to right, this is my first value. That value is at -3. As I continue, that is my farthest right value. That value is at +3. We can do the same thing for the top and bottom of the circle. The bottom of the circle to the top of the circle is going to be my range. So that will also be from -3 to +3. And again, those are hitting those 3's, so those get brackets. 3, I've already done for you. Those are negative infinity to positive infinity for both, because that line is just going to keep going on and on and on, forever down, forever up, forever left, and forever right. Let's look at our domain for 4. 4, again, we see that these are just continuing on and on and on, forever down, but as they're going down, they're also spreading out left and right. So my domain is also going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. Now here's where my range gets a little bit different. So as I said, they're going down and down forever. So I'm going to start at negative infinity. But my graph will only reach all the way up to here. That number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my range is going to stop at 5. 5, once again, looking at my domain. My diamond starts at -1, and I'm going all the way to 5. My range, the lowest number it hits is -3, and the highest number it hits is also 3. Same thing with 6 as I had with, 3. These arrows, again, indicate that it's going down and down forever, up and up forever. That's how we got our range. But as they're going down, it's also going to the left and to the right forever. So that's how we get our domain. 7, again, those arrows means it's going left and right forever. However, we see that my top and bottom of my function here don't exceed -3 and 2. So that's going to be my range. For 8, my function starts here at -1, but will continue on forever. And as it's continuing on there forever for my domain, the range is also increasing up and increasing down, so that's negative infinity to positive infinity. 9 and 10, I've highlighted where the actual lines are because it can kind of get a little confusing. My domain, it's only ever hitting the 2 on the x. It's never going to the left or to the right. So that's just plain 2. My range is it's going to go up and up forever and down forever. Same thing with 10. Left and right forever. However, it's only ever going to hit -4. All right, let's look at 11 and 12 a little bit more carefully. Here's where we come in with open circles and closed circles. So starting with our domain, going from here to here. So my farthest most left point is going to be -2. And I'm going all the way to -5. However, you'll notice at -5, that is going to be a parenthesis because it's an open circle. Talking range here, highest point and my lowest point. So my lowest point is going to be -2, but again, that's going to get a parenthesis because it's an open circle when it hits that point. And my highest point is 1. That gets a bracket because it's actually hitting that. Here with 12, this is my highest point and my lowest point, my farthest left, and my farthest right. All right, so let's do domain first. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going from -4 to 5. And again, it's hitting both those points, so we're good with brackets. Range, I'm starting down here at -3, and again, it's at a full filled-in circle. I'm going all the way up to 3, 4, 5. And again, filled in circles so they get brackets. I've done 13 and 14 for you. Be very careful. Again, we have an open circle here, and this arrow goes on and on forever. All right, let's go back and just fill in that very first page that we had talked about here, our domain and range. So anytime we have these discrete graphs like this, where you see it's just points, your domain is going to be just the values of your x. So that will be, when we do that, we're going to put them in curly brackets. So we have -3, -2, 1, and 3. We don't repeat any numbers. And then my range, again, from smallest to biggest, we have -4, 0, 1, 2, and 5. Domain here, again, is my x values. So I'm going to do -2, -1, 0, 2, and 5. For my range, those are my y values, starting smallest to biggest, so -3, -2, -1, and 4. Last but not least, again, domain is my x values, -5, -2, 0, 2, and 4. Range is my y values. So we're doing -5, -4, -3, 2, and 3. So you kind of notice the difference between these discrete graphs where they're just dots versus the continuous graphs where it's lines. Interval notation for continuous, squiggles for dots or discrete. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions, and let's Zoom if you need any help.